Good morning. I want to work with the TheraBand today. Have your roller on standby because we might need to do a little bit of release work before we use the TheraBand in certain areas. But essentially, today's session is going to be around trunk. So we're going to have a look at our internal and our external obliques. We're going to have a look at our core muscles. So that's our abdominals and our deep core. Then we're also going to have a look at thoracic strength. So we're going to have a look at your lumbar work and stuff going on in around all the waistband. That's where it all is today. Pat's going to do a limbo under the camera. I'm going to ditch my glasses and then we're going to get going. So a lot of rotation work today. So, and the reason behind it, we've kind of neglected this area for a little while, so it's nice to come back to it because we've had 2 sessions on the bounce where we've done loads of release work, and now we've done all that release work, it's time to really think about all the fascias. So we're all starting to get everything singing and smiling. So just pop your band and your roller to one side for a moment. Okay, and we're just going to start neutral spine. You know all this stuff, team. We're going to rise up onto the big and second toes, slowly melt down. So quickly up, slowly to lower. So as soon as we start coming onto our toes or onto one leg, straight away, we're starting to engage those deep core muscles. And as we balance onto big and second toes, there's a natural connection into the inner thighs going into the pelvic floor, okay? So that's where we have to start. Okay, at the top of the movement, stay, drop one heel, then the other. So the start is at the top, one heel down, and then the other. And the reason behind this now, it's about pushing out the hip and getting some power and strength into the middle of the body. And by pressing your heel down, you're also getting a stretch through you're getting a shortening through the front of the thigh and a lengthening through the back of the thigh. So really getting some stretch out of the back of the knee joint. Okay, all relative. Okay, heel down, hip out. Heel down, hip out. So it feels a bit like a wonky donkey when you do this. Heel down, hip out. So you're pushing out your tush and creating space where the ball and socket joint is inside that pelvic capsule there. And you're like, ooh, nice stretch off. Okay, lovely. So you might feel that a little in your back when you start to push out. And that, again, it's all fairly normal. Right, here, we did this in our warm-up last session. Just a little wrap and roll. I'm just going to slow it down for a second. As you wrap and roll, I want you to notice your feet. Notice that you're transferring your energy across the sides of your feet as you wrap and roll. So it's a really relaxed way to do this to start with. So you don't have to go fast with this. Then I want you to think about how your knees are feeling, how your hips are feeling as you wrap and roll. Okay, stop. Eye gaze on me for a moment. Just pump your heels for a moment. Just want to recalibrate you if you like. Okay, then we're going to wrap again, but this time we're going to keep the lower body still. Okay. So you have to squeeze through the abdominals and create that tension in the front of the body as you wrap and roll. Now that will feel slightly stronger, more intense around as the arms slap around your body, but you should feel it quite strongly around the waistline, yes? Okay, good. Okay, forget about that for a second. Let's think about the shoulder. So I would start with, for feedback, pop your hand, left hand onto this, onto your right shoulder or the top of your chest, and start with a roll. So this is just reminding you of what's going on. And you should again notice the whole lift of that quadrant. Then bring in the elbow so it becomes bigger. And when you start doing that, you'll start feeling it down the arm a little bit. And then the final movement is a full up and over. Pat's got a real quizzical face on. She's like looking down the nose behind the camera, looking down her glasses. So she's like, looks like a little owl pondering and thinking. Okay, so again, there's so many complications around what's going on in that shoulder joint. So at the moment, we're just opening, right? Switch side, right hand, left chest, shoulder roll to start with. Notice what's going on in the scapula, so behind the shoulders. And then start to bring the elbow up. Lovely. Lovely. So more elbow. And then finally the full arm. I'm still with you. I've just gone to get tissue a minute. Lovely. Okay, and then settle back to center. Okay, right. We're going to do another bit. It's all interlinked. It's all about what's happening up the next setting. Okay, right, this. So I'm doing this quite quickly. Shoulder lifts and arm swings, right? So there's a elevation depression of the scapula at the same time. The elbows are nice and soft and relaxed. And we're swinging. Got it? So that's part one. Part two, long neck, relax the shoulders. Keep the shoulders lower so we're not going up and down. There's no bobbing, nice and up and down. And now from here, we're just going to swing the arms. Keep your eye gaze forward and your chest and hips forward, okay? Lovely. Okay, and now use your knees, rotate through the trunk, we're going to twist. So the arms will come forward. So you create these big wide V's. Got it? Okay, so here we are. We're starting to introduce a bit more energy around the whole of the spine. Feet wider, arms wider. Just going to reach across the horizon. Now, what you might notice here is tension around your rib cage. So we kind of go, oh, oh, oh. Yeah, notice it, feel it. Okay. Okay, and this again, it's all about creating that mobility in the spine before we do anything. Lovely. Right. Okay, so roller comes into play for support. What we're looking for, take your left hand onto the top of the roller, left foot onto the floor. We're just going to swing the right leg forward and back, forward and back. That's it. Just keep it nice and simple. Lovely. Okay, now the heel is behind you. Now what I want you to do is swing. Now you're going to feel a bit of a torque or a tension on through the supporting standing leg. So when you swing your right leg, the knee faces forward and outwards, forwards and outwards. Okay, again, what you might experience is a bit of release or resistance into the hip. Switch sides. Your standing leg, the back of the knee and hamstring is going, what's going on? What's going on this morning? Same thing. So forward and back to start with, a little swing. Counterbalance, swinging your arm in the opposite direction. Lovely. Okay, and then ask that knee to swing out and in, out and in. Da-da. Changing angles for you. Boom. Knee forward, knee outward. Knee forward, knee outward. You don't have to give it speed if you don't want to. Well done, and release. Okay, so that's like a lot of mobility already this morning. So I've got my hands on the center of the roller and I'm just knocking out my hips side to side, side to side to side. Oh, and as I'm doing that, I'm starting to drop. So hands come forward, elbows nice and straight, pushing my tush out and really appreciating that stretch through the back of the knees and inner thigh. Lovely. Okay. And release. Well done. Pat has recently described herself as a technical genius and a technical wizard. And once again, she has behind the scenes demonstrated the technical prowess and how brilliant she is behind the camera. I'm just acknowledging this with you all, and it's now recorded for prosperity. Okay, so we're going to start with your TheraBand. So a couple of thoughts here. Hand tension on gripping a band can become compromised. So holding and gripping a band, your hands might feel a bit tired. So what you can do is always wrap the band around the whole palm, if that makes it easier. So you're gripping less and it feels a bit more comfortable. Okay, so that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm stepping on the band. Okay, and my starting position, bear with me, is low. So if you just watch me for a second, so my starting position is, I'm taking my arm low, so I'm leaning over before I stand on the band. So I'm already under tension as my starting position. From there, it's a pull up. So we think about this slowly and just give it a little bit of time to just make sure everything's working. So this is a breath in, this is a breath out. Breathing in, breathing out. So breathing in to lower, breathing out to rise. Okay, now continue to do this. Don't worry about the other leg. So it can be in a staggered stance if you want to. This is just us starting to wake up the back. So because you're under tension on the pull, you're actually working both sides. So it's this outside that has to engage. So it's what we call your external obliques that are engaging on one side, internal obliques on the other. Okay. Arm not doing anything, just holding the band. So I know. Yeah. Okay. 4, 3. So we did about 20, I reckon. Knees off lock, I gaze forward, and then we switch sides. Okay, so same thing, wrap the hand around so it's just protecting your hand. You start low. So the lower you are, the more tension you have on your band. So it's really important that you start low so you're under tension on the up phase. So I'm already being pulled down. I can feel that in my back, I can feel it in my shoulders and spine. Just going to think about using that tension on through my belly to be able to lift. So this would be, I said akin then in my head, aligned to, picking up your buckets in your garden. So the load is there, you have to pull it upwards. You're shopping. Again, you might feel this in various areas in your back and spine. So just take your time, just notice where it is. Does one side feel the same as the other side? That's all really relevant. Are you using your knees to protect, or are you strengthening and lengthening your knees? And see how that feels with a straight leg. Oh, for me, I find that quite hard. I find it, but I think I'm getting a bad chest again. Well done. Okay, so we release and we take that off for a second. Okay, so like I said, so much of this work today is around this area, wrapping around this area. So the next thing I'm going to do, this will involve the shoulder. We're stepping on. So right hand into band. We're stepping on right foot. So it's the back of the hand, the heel of the hand or little finger is the highest point. And then we're just going to add a little twist and rotate. So it's a lift up and twist. Notice what's going on behind your shoulder blade. Oh, am I too close? Sorry, I can't see that. This light here blocks my vision, so I can't see where I'm at. Okay, so this here, I want you to really put all your notice in to what's going on into your shoulder blade and behind your shoulder. Because it's those muscles leading into the back of the shoulder that I'm targeting here. You're going to feel it quite a lot around the shoulder joint. Lovely. Now we release and we relax. So hopefully not too onerous at this point. Same thing, we step on left hand. It is the back side of the hand that is the highest point. Oh, can't do it. Okay, back side of the hand is the highest point. And again, we're just going to work through a little rotation. So we're just again thinking about what rotation feels like in your body. Lovely little twists, relaxing through the shoulders. It'll be about 20, we do. And all of this before we've even gone anywhere near the floor. Lovely. 2, last one. Okay, and release. Well done. Just give yourself a bit of a shaky, 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 shaky. Okay, so we're going to come back to the first one. But the lateral flexion, extension. But this time I want you, so I'm going to roll the band around my hands to protect my hands. Then I'm going to step on equally onto my band. So I'm already under tension, then I stand. So this is how it's going to look. So bear with me. So I'm increasing the load into the back and we're doing it both sides together. So one side is flexing, the other side is extending. Notice what's going on behind your belly button. So feel that tension start to build in the abdominals. Now I'm leading with my elbows. So if you want to, you can just allow your hands to slide down the side seams of your leggings or increase the load by using your elbow and bringing that in. So all of this is real tension work and real strengthening work into lateral flexion into the spine. Lovely. Oh, so you're going to feel that again as the spine locks down into the pelvis. So that's kind of, again, one of the areas that we need to work on and target. Lovely. And release. Step out, give yourself a little drink of water, hydrate, because we're just changing, finally starting to change gears on the weather and the temperature, right? That's fierce. Okay, so as I said, lots of rotation work today, but to be able to rotate well, we need to activate what's slightly above and slightly below. So we're coming into dumb waiter. So I want you to start by taking the band into roughly where your bra strap is, then hold, and then straight away go out, in, forward. Does that make sense? I'll demonstrate again. So you have to get under tension. You have to get under tension first. So grab, reach, settle, come forward. So when you take your arms out, weirdly, you're reducing the tension. But what you will find, because you're opening up through the front of the chest, you will find tightness and, well, tightness. Again, if it's too much in the hands, you might need to wrap. God, I was in the car this morning thinking, I would have been I was a really good personal trainer. And I was. I made a lot of changes for a lot of people. But I would have been so much better if I really fully understood the impact of estrogen on women's health. Like all those shoulders I rehabbed, all those years, all that, all those vertigos, all those conversations around joint pain. And so much of it was connected to HRT or lack of estrogen. Wow. And it's only now becoming common knowledge. Just think, we've got so much more to do. Okay, now it's not over. So we go out, wide, in, together. Out, wide, in, together. Lovely. Good. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Last time. Well done. Here's the change. We are going to send the palms downwards, coming into a spinal twist. So I'll take my head out of camera, right? So spinal twist. Now notice shoulders down, neck long, hips together, thighs together, inside of the feet match. And now we rotate. So my chin will stay aligned with the logo on the center of my vest. So I am rotating, but I'm not turning and looking over my shoulder. So there's a rotation and center. Pulling back again, noticing what's going on underneath the shoulders to be able to twist, keeping my hips directly facing forward through this movement. Working the shoulders, keeping the lines long. So you will fatigue. So we're going to do this another 6 to 8 times. Just continue with that lovely rotation. Lovely, lovely. See, for me, I'm really enjoying that. That feels really nice on the front of my shoulders. And then release, relax. Let's just ditch this for a minute. Again, knowing what I know about hormones, I'm really sorry that I've made you hold things for long periods of time over the years. So I feel like there's like this sense of like forgiveness. Please forgive me for being a very cruel personal trainer. I didn't know. Okay, so we're coming down onto the floor. What I'd like to do now is bring in the roller, because I'd like us to do a bit of work off the roller that might feel a bit tense. Okay, so bear with me, Sue. So we're going to make our way down to the ground, and then we're going to be on our sides facing me. Roller facing me. Right. So let's just have a little bit of a fiddle, a little play as we adjust here. So firstly, we're going to tuck that roller right onto the top of your hip. You're up nice and tall on your elbow. There is a lot of space between your ear and your shoulder. So that's part one. So here, what we're doing, we're just going to start lowering the body weight onto the roller, okay? So you started nice and high and tall. So what I want you to do is so your waistline, top of hip, bottom of rib is the bit that's on the roller, okay? So you might have to have a little play to get yourself comfortably in place. And then what I want you to do is send that arm out a little bit and just descend. I want you to roll forward to me a little. So this is more about, oh, and then, oh, that's horrible. And then just press back a little bit. So we're just moving a little bit. So to explain, the muscles, the obliques that I talked around, is that like the center, the trunk muscles are this fantastic corset. And what you're doing here is just releasing off some of the tension of that corset. It's like you've loosened off the laces of a corset. And again, what you might have is a couple of little sweet spots here that you don't really like too much. But what will this do It was just enable us to have a bit more mobility, the other side of this movement. It's not really a movement, it's more of a decompression. Now, if you feel that with breathe in, you can go a little deeper, you might be able to do so. Yeah, when I started this maybe 30 seconds ago, I wouldn't be able to do this. So this is, and I'm really taking my time because it's quite tender. It should be tender because your body is guarding all your vital organs here, right? My neck's getting tight. Okay, and then what I'd like you to do is come up onto your hand and then just rest under your armpit for a minute. Hand into head. Just give yourself a minute just to relax any tension off your neck. Got it? Okay, so from here, we're going to adjust. We're going to lie on our backs and pop the roller underneath the bottom of the shoulder blade. So again, this is all fascia release around the trunk. So I need the bottom tips of your shoulder blades to touch your roller. Okay, and once you've got that, I want you to start thinking about opening up your ribs and lowering. So we're just opening up the rib cage a little bit and allowing your spine from the bottom of your shoulder blades to start to come over the roller. Now, the whole of your trunk will lift and arch. And just work with it. Oh. Come back to center. And then what we're going to do is repeat on the other side. So I'm going to just move my roller so I can still face you. Right. Can you drop that other camera down a little lower, the one on the desk? There you go. Thank you, darling. Right. So the first thing is placement. So your roller needs to get in that space above your pelvis. So you start on your elbows, and that's kind of your little starting point. And it's about taking those breaths, working with it, because you will naturally hold tension here, okay? It's really normal. So you know what's coming. You might also notice that one side was like, this side might be less tension on than the other side. Who knows? Come forward to me. Maybe it's me, maybe I really needed to do this with you today. But I've noticed that that side, my left side, is really tender. So I didn't know that moving around until I put that fascia release on. I didn't know how tense my left side around my trunk was. So leaning in, breathing. Now the important thing is get that breath in, big fat breath. And when you let it go, when you let the air out of your body, you can really allow to get some sinking in and notice where you need to do the fascia release. Okay. And when you're ready, we lift up. So last time around, we rolled onto our back. This time around, and I know you hate it. I'm really sorry about that, Sue. So we are going to come forward onto it. And I just want you to, if you can, just have the roller under your armpits. Next level would be under your boobs. And I know some of you don't like that. So, and that's fair dues. Under your boobs, so you kind of like bring your boobs over the roller. You might need to support yourself on your back a little bit for a minute, because then what happens is you'll start to relax your bum cheeks. Okay, again, what we're doing here is stretching the front fascia. So we're thinking about the tension on that is connecting the trunk to the lower limbs. Relax the neck. Okay, and then to do a little bit of nerve flossing. So if this is all too much, so you don't have to use the roller. Oh, and who else is in there? Elaine. So what you can do here now is just 20 of these for me, please. So you're supported on the roller. We're just bringing the heels and pointed toes towards the bum. 1, 2, 1, 2. Now, if you feel you can progress this, you can use a heel instead of a pointed toe. See how that feels. Okay, well done, and release. Now here's the next thing I need you to do before we come off this is to roll side to side. So just wiggle, jiggle, right, left, right, left, right, left. Try and breathe, try and relax the bum cheeks. Then we finally push up and then sit back in child's pose. Right, give yourself a moment, sit up and hydrate if you need to. Okay, right, are we good? It's all a bit of a shocker, wasn't it, this morning? So the next thing we need to do, I want to, we're going to take the roller out of play. In the old days, we used to do this as part of our warm-up, and I'd catch you all before we'd start in the class doing some little circles. Do you remember? So pop the band in your right hand. Band goes around your right arch of your foot. Left knee bent to start with. And all we're going to do is just draw some guided circles, okay? Just work with it. Allow the body to rock and sway, part 1. Okay, you keep going. I'm just going to bring this blanket down a bit. There you go. There you go. You might be able to see me a bit better. Yeah, lovely. Okay, and then from there, let's see if we can make the left leg longer. Okay, use this time to increase the resistance, to increase the stretch. Now, if you get to the point where you're shaky, 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 then that's just too much. You don't need to stress your body like that. So just work on a little bit of increased resistance. So you feel that knee that you're stretching coming on. Lovely. More of a straight leg than a bent knee. Okay, and then what I'd like you to do is take it across the body, so across your midline, and feel that stretch that's coming on through the outside of the hip. And it might be, that's just when we go off the body, out of the midline, that's where you hold it. So Mary, this is supported, so you're using the band to hold it on, or if you want to, you can just go wider and deeper. See how you feel. Now, if you want to also, you can grab the band with your right hand and assist pulling that leg towards the floor. This is all hip related work. Okay, oblique related too. Come back to center, and when you're ready, switch sides. So foot in the air. Right knee is bent to start with. Grip onto your band, a little bit of a guided stretch, and then we do some lovely circles. So just giving yourself a bit of time. Oop. Hit the wall. Ooh. Lovely. And then come back to center. And just again, if you want to, increase the range, pull that foot down. Straighten off the knee, that's what we're working towards here. But if you're giving yourself multiple tremors, you don't need that. You don't need that. Straighten off the right leg. So feel how that changes in your back. Oh, I love that. I love how my back clicks, and it's only with one leg. It's not a bad thing. It's just gas with that buildup of synovial fluid between the joints. It's all normal if your back is a bit clicky without pain. Don't panic too much. Okay, well done, and release. Okay, so what I'd like us to do is park your feet wider than hip width, part one. So your knees will go out into more of a V, and then also straighten off your feet. So I don't want your toes turning outwards. I want your feet turning forward, but you've just separated your knees a bit more than usual. Okay, and the reason being, we are going to work on some controlled forward flexion, but we're going to add in a little bit of rotation, okay? So just watch me for a second. We're going to go straight into a combo. As you breathe out, you lift, hands slide up to your knees, slide back down. Then we think about right hand slides up to the top of the left knee and down. Left hand, right knee and down. Both hands, both knees and down. I want you every time to breathe out on the lift. So we inhale, both knees, breathe out. Now notice that connection to your pelvic floor, and you're tucking everything in and up and down. Right hand, left thigh, breathe out and down. Right hand, left thigh, right, left hand, right thigh and down. Both hands, both thighs. Okay, got it? That's nice. Let's bring your feet slightly closer together and repeat. So if your neck is getting tired, I would just give it a rest and just use your arms, so you're stretching your arms away. You don't have to lift your head. Not as effective in the targeted areas, but you're still engaging your core. Okay, breathe out, lift and lower. Opposite hand to knee and lower, switch side. Both hands. One hand, opposite knee. Opposite. Both hands, makes me hot and lower. Just relax for a second. From here, we are lifting up the bottom, up into a bridge and holding. Drop left bum cheek and lift, right bum cheek and lift. So we go 1, lift, 2, lift, 1, lift, 2, lift, 1. Keep clenching and keep dropping. So you're dropping one hip and squeezing up, dropping the other hip and squeezing up. And the reason we're doing this, again, we're still applying just small little rotations in that movement, activating one hip at a time. It doesn't have to be a massive movement, but really drive out of the heels. Keep going, driving out the heels, hips high. So keep pushing, 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 pushing. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Back down, bum down, knees to chest. Lovely. Ah. Right, so we're going to revisit where we were. So we were doing a short little crunch and then the opposite hand. But this time what we're going to do is incorporate the band. You're going to flex your feet. So watch me, feet flexed, because then I know I'm anchored down with my band. Then I'm going to wrap the band. Ooh, I'm anchored down with a band. Then I'm going to wrap the band around my hand. And watch, I'm going to start under tension again. So letting the band pull me from one side to the other. 1 and 2, everything tucked in, everything neat and controlled. Lovely. Now, what you might do is get a bit of carpet burn on your shoulders, or your neck gets tired, so rest it out if you need to. If you're under any tension, you might notice your neck is really bringing it on today. You feel like build up a tension. So rest and repeat. Keep pulling side to side. So the waistline muscles are really getting the action here. 5, 4, 3, 2, and release. Good job. Good job. Okay, so it's not over. Left knee bend, right leg long. Right toenails to ceiling. You're going to allow them to go out and in as if they're sliding along the floor. Now, I don't know if you can see that well, but I need you not to turn the toes out. I need the toes towards the ceiling always. And what will happen here is you will be restricted. There will be a point, so your heel is at 6, and you're going to glide it out to 7, possibly 8, but unlikely, okay? And then back to 6. So you're not going to travel far. Now, we do this with stillness. To challenge yourself, what you can do is lift up the other leg into half tabletop and repeat the movement, but you have to keep still on the left. So the lifted leg. So what you'll notice is hip flexors, so the top of the thigh in towards your pelvis is feeling quite tight. You'll feel restricted as you abductate the leg away. Okay, give me 2 or 3 more, and then we can switch sides. All abs, all works beautifully. Okay, let's switch sides. So really important, the knee points to the ceiling throughout the movement. Again, 6, 5, 4 possibly, and then back again. So just like gliding out and in, keeping stillness on the supported, non-moving side. If you want to progress it, I'm really sorry. Coughing. If you want to, you can lift the other leg. And that increases the tension on, but it really does help to focus your core muscles. Keep it still. 5, 4, 3. Oh, it makes me hot. And release. Feet down, give yourself a moment. Let's drop both knees out to the right. The feet don't have to be together. Create a nice stretch through the hips. Squeeze your butt cheek. Butt. I don't know what the butt cheek is, but squeeze it anyway. Reset. Other side. Squeeze. Ooh. Feels nice, right? Again, releasing off through the waistline. Okay, so it feels a bit windscreen wipering. So option 1, feet on the floor. Hands towards the ceiling, knees go one way, hands go the other, right? Okay, so if you want to, stay there. Part 2, you're up in tabletop, knees go one way, and then the other. If you want to, part 3, leg extension, feet go one way, arms go the other. Have a go, let's see how you feel. The slower you do this, mind, the more challenging it is to your torso. Okay, so, and that's really important. Cool. Well done. Release, relax. Good. How are we feeling? Oh dear, I crack myself up, I really do. Right. But tomorrow on our WhatsApp group, I want you to go, oh, I really felt that. Well, I'm feeling it today. Okay, so here I am. Give yourself a moment. So I need you, remember, this is all about rotations. This is all about the trunk. So I've now folded my band in half. Left hand is pressing down on the band. The loopy loop side, because we're all scientifical, the loopy loop side I'm holding on with my right. Now I'm in a box position and I'm rotating. So the elbow is coming up towards the ceiling. Got it? Yeah. You know, those noises, they're real. They really are real. So I need you to think about how that feels. So it might be a few adjustments are required here because you're trying to keep your elbow low and your neck long and your ear away from your shoulder. Okay. Again, it's quite a challenging weird, targeting strange areas for you here, which is part of my master plan. And release, sit back, relax your wrists. You've done quite a lot of load onto the hand and wrists. And then when we get ready, we switch sides. So right hand is on the ends, left hand is using the grip. I'm thinking about pulling the elbow up to the ceiling, squeezing and noticing my shoulder blades, keeping my neck long. So there's a big space between my ear and my collarbone. Lovely. But really nice feeling because now you're working around your intercostals, so the muscles that sit around your rib cage, and that's lovely because we've still got to maintain that elasticity around the rib cage and that mobility to be able to do that. Helps to breathe in, basically. Yeah. Well done, and release. Okay, so I don't feel we downward dog enough. So I'm just going to give us a bit of a nice, lovely stretch. So ditch the band for a second, beautiful, beautiful people. Curl toes under heels, stretch your fingers, focus on your index finger and middle finger as you engage your core, activate, and then lift your knees and sit back into downward dog. Give yourself a couple of moments here. So it might be that you just need to wiggle, jiggle into position. So think about feet in neutral, using your hands and your upper body to push backwards to increase the stretch, and stay here. We're going to stay here for a moment. Think about drawing your armpits towards the floor. Think about ears lining up with the top of your arms and your eye gaze directly to the floor below you, not your toenails. We're not looking at your pedicures. Okay. Now, the theme of today has been about rotation. So I want you to take your feet slightly wider. And when you're ready, take your right hand and slide it towards your left lower limb. So ankle or calf or knee. Then you drop your right shoulder and look under that space. Switch, switch when you're ready. So both hands on the ground, feet nice and wide. My feet slip, that's what I worry about. And then your left hand across towards the right side and twist and rotate. Well done. Hands down, knees down. Take your right hand, and then I want you to slide your right hand underneath. So we draw the shoulder towards the ground and really work on making this a massive active stretch. Try and look towards the ceiling. Keep stretching out through your shoulders. Breathe. Switch sides. So all patted a camera in around then and I have my bum up in the air. So left hand, palm up, slide the shoulder under. Now make it active. So really slide that hand under as far as you can. See if you can look towards the ceiling and you'll notice the stretch becomes stronger into the back and shoulders. Lovely. And then release. Sit back in child's pose. And now really focus, bottom onto heels. Use your hands to actively push yourself back. Now here's another tip. Tuck your tail under to get a bit of a rounding out through the back. Really stretch your arms forward to get space in your shoulders so you can feel the lat stretch as well, your armpits are stretching as well. Well done. Come up. I'm going to give you options. We're going to do some relaxation. So you can either sit or lie down. Make yourself nice and comfortable as we come into our relaxation. Okay, so from here, well done, everyone. I'm going to sit today. I fancy sitting. So, and I'm going to use the roller to support my back and spine. Tops of my feet are facing the floor and they're stacked rather than crossed. Then I'm going to come forward. So it enables me to just open up my hips and feel comfortable in this relaxed position. This is about noticing today. So we'll just slow and calm the breath for a moment. Focus your breath and listen into your breath. Notice how you're feeling. Relax your shoulders. Notice how your body feels against the ground beneath you. Notice any tension that might be in your hands or elbows and shoulders. And keep calming the breath and relaxing the breath. With each breath out, think about any tension in any muscles leaving the body. Think about the calm that's leaving you. Allowing a gentle snore or growl through the back of the throat. Okay. And now you feel fully relaxed. You need to pull it all together. Like, it's almost like you've thrown out your parachute and now you're pulling your parachute threads all back in. Just so you've got this big bundle of fabric and thread all cutched in and covered and engulfed with all this silky parachute fabric, because that's all the goodness. So I want you to think about pulling all that good energy, drawing in from the environment around you, just pulling it all in. And I want you to fill your inside, outside with like this warm light and glow and energy and positivity. And once you feel that's all nice and wrapped up and you're all nice filled up and you've exercised, you've rewarded yourself, you've calmed your breath, you've reduced your stress, all of that's happening. We now breathe out. We activate our fingers. We activate our body, knowing that inside we're all wrapped up and everything is glowing. We stretch our arms out to the side, stretch our fingers, send the fingers backwards, squeeze the shoulder blades. Breathe in, rise your hands up towards the sky. Breathe out, bring your hands back to your chest. And then give yourselves an enormous round of applause. Well done.